The damage here along the Gulf Coast is catastrophic. There's a frantic effort underway tonight to find survivors.
In North Dakota, residents are racing to hold off the rising Red River. The river is already more than 7 feet above flood stage in Fargo, and forecasters warn more rain is on the way.
Destruction, death, despair. The disastrous effects of Hurricane Katrina and the breach of Louisiana levees. In the aftermath, U.S. Flood Control Corporation came to the rescue with its patented product of protection. This flood control system, the Tiger Dam, uses the very same floodwaters to fight floods. Use water to fight water. Known as the Sandbag Replacement Company, U.S. Flood Control now introduces the Concrete Tiger Dam Flood Control Protection System, which uses recyclable concrete, eliminating the use of sandbags forever.
Well, I'll tell you, it's an amazing product. The water tubes were great, but when we're talking about putting something there and allowing it to stay through hurricane season, maybe 2, maybe 3 seasons, this gives you the comfort level. It's solid, it's there, it's as good as the levee, and it gives you that added protection.
The sandbags are just bunched together, thrown into piles. These now is a seamless, continuous, for miles long, of impervious water barrier.
When floodwaters come in contact with the concrete Tiger Dams, there's nothing to fear. The water barriers act as a shield for utilities, chemical plants, bridge and river crossings, and major roadways. Plaquemines Parish, located in southeast Louisiana, is home to 27,000 people. This parish has the most combined land and water area in the entire state, with over 100 miles of rivers surrounding both sides. Along with its thriving seafood and citrus industries, it's also home to several oil refineries. A major problem for this community is that its levee system is not design grade as per the Army Corps of Engineers. And year after year, storm after storm, Plaquemines continues to get hit hard and fight to retain what's left.
We've used them before during Katrina, and they worked very well. During Gustav and Ike, we mobilized during those 2 storms as well.
And it's not just the storms Plaquemines Parish has to routinely contend with when Tiger Dams presented a solution.
In 2006, we had an abnormal high tide one December, so we called for help. It was a quick fix, a good need. It served the purpose that we were looking for at a moment's notice.
So how do the concrete dams work? First, roll out the 50-foot engineered dam. Then, simply fill with concrete.
Here right now they're mixing the cement up right now, and the concrete mixture is going into this thing. It's called a pumper. Now what's going to happen is going to be this pumper mix around. They'll put the Agilia in, which basically says we want to water it down, make the mixture of the water, and put a hardening ingredient in it as well. So when they pump it out of here, they pump it through this chamber. In about 5 minutes, we can fill up each tube.
A cement truck, a cement pumper, and a couple of people to fill is all it takes to create this life-saving protective barricade that can hold up to 15,000 pounds of concrete. Once filled, simply wipe off the excess and cap. Each engineered tube interlocks, creating a variety of lengths, shapes, and sizes.
We don't have the luxury of running heavy equipment on these levees to pile up sand or to build levees. We have to be able to put something out there, cover a long distance, fill them quickly in a short period of time to prevent the overtopping of the levees.
Drilling these 26-inch aluminum anchor screws into the ground provides 4,500 pounds of virtual lift protection. By stacking these concrete barriers one on top of the other produces a cement wall as high as 100 feet that protects against a hurricane, storm surge, and inland flooding. For added reinforcement, this poly can be used to create a vapor barrier to eliminate erosion and scouring from water currents. With just 2 people, these concrete Tiger Dams can be filled and ready to use in just minutes. The 500-year-old technology of sandbagging days are over. Imagine the money saved with not having to transport the tons of sand used to fill these sandbags, not to mention the manpower needed from workers and volunteers to put them in place. Traditional sandbagging efforts require people to work around the clock to fill, then set. No more back-breaking efforts. The manpower once used the old-fashioned way can now be used to protect homes, infrastructure, and lives. This even replaces the need for HESCO baskets. These wire-linked fabric-lined baskets have to be stretched out and filled manually with an aggregate. When a natural disaster hit March of 2009 in Fargo, North Dakota, officials said it took 27 labor-intensive hours just to set up one HESCO barrier stretching 0.62 miles or 1 kilometer. Just imagine how many workers it must have taken to fill more than 8 million sandbags when the Red River overflowed, causing major flooding. To look at it another way, it takes 18 million sandbags to stretch from Nome, Alaska to Miami, Florida. Protecting and saving lives is at such a premium when disaster strikes. A stark reality when people are making that very same sacrifice when sandbagging.
It's very dangerous to try to set up as water is beginning to top over those levees in case there was a breach on those levees, to have that number of people on the levees flood fighting, trying to handle sandbags when you're only talking about small quantities at a time that can be set up and stacked at a time.
Those volunteers are better suited not sandbagging. We need those homeowners protecting their homes, need those homeowners protecting their neighborhoods, their kids, old folks' homes, evacuating the hospitals, old folks' homes, getting people to safety.
And once the disaster is over, these very same sandbags have to be taken to a facility for disposal. With concrete tiger dams, these units can stay in place for as long as necessary, posing no dangers to the environment. Once no longer needed, these tubes and the concrete can then be recycled, a product that serves as an effective flood fighting tool that's also recyclable.
The environmental impact using our product is so minimal compared to sandbags. This is recyclable, reusable. All these tubes filled with water can be reused over and over and over again. The concrete can be recycled and crushed and reused over and over again.
That's great. As more communities in Plaquemines Parish continue to look at green ideas for our buildings, for our environment, once again, this is just a great asset to be able to use.
In fact, many towers out there right now, when you're doing construction, are insisting on having recycled concrete to build their towers. Everyone wants the green feeling these days, and this is a great opportunity for them to do this.
In order to build these sandbag blockades, it takes heavy equipment, sand, and hundreds, if not thousands of people. And this can run a hefty price tag.
See the cost effectiveness versus sandbags. Each one of these tubes is 50 feet long, approximately 500 sandbags. But you have two of them together here right now, so we say we have 1,000 sandbags. That's half the price of sandbags put into place with hundreds of thousands of volunteers. You need thousands of volunteers and dump trucks and backhoes and all kinds of equipment.
Leftover sandbags that once came in contact with contaminated water and not properly disposed of can threaten the environment and breed harmful bacteria.
A lot of times with sandbags, you can't reuse them over again. They're going to go to some hazmat dump because once water has touched them, they are now considered hazardous material.
Concrete tiger dams have been utilized around the world. In April 2009, this product was used in the flood fighting tactics in the Czech Republic when heavy rains caused severe flooding and mudslides. The humanitarian aspects of this product are astounding within the United States and around the world. The Concrete Tiger Dam, a solution by U.S. Flood Control Corporation. 21st century technology is here. Use it.